This is incredible. So, as my video was earlier, you only seen it if you got my YouTube page. But there's a lot of distortion in history to make people's image look tainted, to make people look like they're not wise, or not good people, or spiritually imbalanced, or chaotic, corrupt. But when you hear what these so-called enemies had to say about these people, and when you find out why these enemies treated these people this way, strictly going off where they came from. See, Germans didn't treat blacks bad because they had an issue with blacks. They treated them bad because they were going off of what the American system was doing to these blacks. So that's all they could run off, was the education of how they're treated where they're from. But then when they engaged with them, they were astonished at how incredibly wise and grand these people actually were, and still are, just hiding themselves. Let's check out some good information. You know, the light show, he doesn't play. He can only keep it real, because that's all that there is. There's lies and truth. It's going to be your choice on what you really want to hear. So let's listen.
December 1944. Stalag 9B, Bad Orb, Germany. A German guard stood duty at the newly arrived prisoner compound, watching American POWs file through the gates. His orders were clear: separate the prisoners by race, white soldiers to the main camp, black soldiers to the segregated barracks with reduced rations and no Red Cross privileges. It was standard procedure. The Wehrmacht had adopted these policies based on American military segregation. If the Americans themselves separated their soldiers by race, surely it indicated these Negro troops were inferior, requiring different treatment. The guard approached the first group of black prisoners, preparing to bark orders in German, expecting blank stares and incomprehension. Standard procedure: point, shout, push them toward their assigned area. But before he could speak, one of the prisoners addressed him directly, in flawless German, with a Bavarian accent. Guten Morgen, Herr Obergefreiter.
With a Bavarian accent. So not only could this black soldier speak German, but he spoke a classical type German. That really threw the soldier off.
We understand your orders perfectly. Would you prefer we form ranks by height or by unit assignment? The guard froze. The prisoner stood at attention, military bearing impeccable, eyes forward, waiting for response like a Prussian officer cadet. Behind him, other black soldiers waited in perfect formation, their discipline evident, their understanding of military protocol clear. This wasn't what the guard had been told to expect. Wehrmacht intelligence briefings described American Negro troops as poorly educated, barely trained, suitable only for labor duties. No one mentioned they might speak German. No one suggested they might understand military tactics better than some of the guards watching them. Over the following months, German guards at multiple POW camps would discover that their assumptions about race and military capability were catastrophically wrong.
Now, why is this important? And why did Hitler give Jesse Owens his props? Bro, this is very critical, because that whole Negas thing, they have German books with that information. They already know about the greatness of the melanated being of the past. They know it. But who misguided them? Who lied to them? the American whites at this time. There's a lot of racism going on in the 40s. Who lied to them? The system that was running it at that time, the Trumans. They lied to these people. The original Germans, not the German Jews, no, just Germans for Germany. Once they realized that they were misguided, you got to think that's you could look at that like your enemy is trying to fool you. Like, oh, you don't have to really worry about these blacks because they don't know anything. To see that they're fluent in German and they know military strategy and formation better than a lot of the German soldiers, bruh, that would keep you on your guard. Like, yo, did they tell us that so we would not turn a blind eye to these people and they could, rebel and break out of these POW camps? Is like a smart person would start to think, why would they do that? There's white supremacy over here. The whole inferior complex is to keep them beneath you, even though they're better than you. We can see that through the sports. We can see that through the 50,000 patents being hidden. We can see that through a lot of different things, even through nature. They're not burning the sun. It's a lot of different things that indicate certain things. But the slave master dynamic, it's like you'd have to tell nothing but lies. That's how you keep this. It's just like the devil, a deceiver. It's like that's how you keep a person low.
Some of the black American prisoners they guarded were better educated than their captors, spoke multiple languages fluently, and possessed military knowledge that would save lives on both sides.
Now look at the info we used to get back in the day. They talk about black people need to learn different languages. We did know multiple languages. They took that science away from us. They gave us these dilapidated schools and then bust brothers and sisters off to racist areas where people didn't like us and they were going to treat us bad and poorly educate us anyway. So we were better off building what we've been had, the Dunbars and so on and so on. We had it clearly because the Germans are telling us. This is all information being given by the Germans at that time. This ain't no white America wish-washing, mixing up history. This ain't no third world country foreigner who gets indoctrinated at the gate about black people or no. This is the Germans from way over there, from what they experienced, from what they seen of these people. And they're like, bro, everything y'all wrote about them is bogus. These dudes were genius. They were great.
This is the story of how black POWs shattered German expectations. The black American prisoners they guarded were better educated than their captors, spoke multiple languages fluently, and possessed military knowledge that would save lives on both sides. This is the story of how black POWs shattered German expectations, survived brutal captivity, and proved that intelligence, education, and military competence have nothing to do with skin color.
Exactly. Just like light and dark. Hello. What have I been telling people on this page this whole time? What I've been telling you about this chessboard and what it really represents and what we're talking about. We're talking about duality, higher self, lower self. We're talking about divine wisdom, which can only be given to a person that is with the most high, higher thought, higher being.
Niggas still fucking talking. You niggas still breathing. You fucking roaches.
So did the Germans just admit that the American Negroes are the light beings?
Niggas still fucking talking. You niggas still breathing. You fucking roaches.
Now that doesn't mean the only ones on Earth, but it means they are credited in history for being light beings because they just told you.
POWs shattered German expectations, survived brutal captivity, and proved that intelligence, education, and military competence have nothing to do with skin color. Before
niggas still fucking talking. You niggas still breathing. You fucking roaches.
This is why I come out here and do this. Because somebody's got to represent for the tan man. The one that gets pigment in the sun. Somebody's got to represent for these people because they keep shattering records. They keep The more you dig in their history, the more greatness you see. And we're not even talking about from far away. No, we're talking about the ones right here, the ones that got all of the minorities' rights, the ones that got all of the people of the world to come together, because without them, no one will be able to get in here. Not without being pale-faced Anglo-Saxon.
Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. These are the stories that challenge everything we thought we knew about World War II. The capture of Black American soldiers by German forces during World War II created a complex situation that Wehrmacht leadership had never adequately prepared for. Nazi racial ideology declared black people inferior, yet these prisoners arrived wearing American uniforms, bearing weapons, and having fought with competence that contradicted every assumption. By late 1944, thousands of black American soldiers had been captured during various operations. The Battle of the Bulge in December 1944 resulted in the largest number of American POWs taken in a single operation during the war, over 23,000 men captured in the initial German assault. Among them were hundreds of black soldiers from segregated units, including men from the 333rd Field Artillery Battalion, transportation companies, and combat engineer units. The Wehrmacht's initial processing of these prisoners revealed immediate complications. Standard interrogation procedures assumed prisoners would need translators, that educational levels would be minimal, that military knowledge would be basic. These assumptions worked reasonably well for many captured soldiers, but they failed spectacularly when applied to certain black American POWs.
Wow. So it was normal to meet a white soldier in World War II that really didn't know much German, didn't have too much military background, tactical information. But we're not supposed to know anything from these niggas. These niggas is supposed to be all stupid. They're supposed to be just help, not basic labor, but it's like they're just supposed to not really be in control of everything. They're just soldiers. They're just cadets. You know what I'm saying? Greenbacks. They're not really doing anything. But he's like, it was like a complete difference with some of these black soldiers. Some of these black soldiers was so damn smart. It went completely against the code of Germany. Like, our education has told us these people are not even on this level. They're not even supposed to be like this at all. But with some of them, it was ridiculous. And remember, this is at 100.
These assumptions worked reasonably well for many captured soldiers, but they failed spectacularly when applied to certain black American POWs. Historical records document numerous instances of German interrogators being surprised by prisoners who spoke fluent German, French, and Italian. Some black POWs were college graduates with degrees in languages. When German interrogators attempted to trick them by switching between languages during questioning, these prisoners calmly responded in whichever language was used, sometimes correcting their interrogators' grammar errors. Interrogation reports from various camps note this phenomenon repeatedly. One German intelligence...
Of course, because they had to report back to Hitler. Nigga, this is a war. This is a war. We don't give a fuck what we have been told or assume from the other side of the pond, about how these people operate. When we're talking to them in a language they should not fucking know, they know the language fluent as hell. When we're talking to them in English, they know it fluent as hell. When we're switching back and forth, they're correcting our grammar on how the fuck to use our language. Who the fuck is these dudes? Like I said, you got to think like a strategist, like a fucking genius. I'm not dumb. You're my fucking enemy. Why did you tell me these people are stupid? And then when I interrogate their ass, they smart as fuck. This is a problem because now you're making me feel like you wanted me to just side these fools along like they didn't know anything anyway. These motherfuckers know more than you. They know how to read this shit. They can know our plans. They're hearing us talk. They know what we're saying. These are fucking spies. These black soldiers weren't just no fucking dummies. They're basically American spies. They know the German language better than the fucking white soldiers. They know it etiquette-wise better than some of the Germans. But they know English too. And they got military background. And these motherfuckers is college graduates. They're like, bro, what the fuck did America send over here, bro? But America look at these people like, oh, they didn't help the war. Oh, they didn't help nothing. Oh, they didn't help anything. How the fuck did they not help anything if they knew German language better than most of the white soldiers? How are you going? Who were they reporting back to? Who knew this shit? Like, I forgot what that dude's name is. Corporal whatever. The dude with Rambo and shit. It's like, bruh, somebody train these dudes. That's what I'm saying. Like, all jokes aside, somebody put enough common sense and faith in these black soldiers that they taught them some shit, because they had already knew in the barracks, bro, you know when you're going to Germany. It's ironic that these black dudes know fluent German. Like, who was letting them read German books? Who was letting them translate and shit when they're supposed to be in the field doing whatever they're doing? Or are you saying they initially was doing this on their own? It really don't matter either or. There's no way in hell that these reportings did not get back. I don't believe that. So this is another way how they use black people again, because a lot of black people made it home from World War II. A lot of them didn't die. The translation conversation, bruh, there's so much information those soldiers that got back from Germany was able to tell, because all POWs didn't die. How you think people be waving that black flag under the United States flag at their house? That shit's not for decoration. A lot of them people were POWs. They were held behind enemy lines and enemy fucking holding tanks or whatever the fuck they call them, concentration camps. Bro, that shit really happened. A lot of these brothers that came home, brothers and, well, not sisters, nah, this is too long ago, but a lot of them brothers that came back, scars on their face, scars on their body, had old in the motherfuckers. Some of them motherfuckers is POW. Some of them people was held literally in concentration camps, bro. That Rambo shit, like real shit. Okay. Well, the black soldiers that was in World War II, they spoke fluent German. They did shit that they were reported they weren't supposed to be even fathomable to do, so much that it's in countless reports of the German fucking base, the ones that held these U.S. prisoners that was the black soldiers. There's countless of reports of this shit. They're like, how the fuck are these dudes knowing this shit? They're not supposed to be smart. This sounds like a setup, motherfucker. Yeah, they're telling us over there that they ain't fucking with them like that. Well, how the fuck are they more fluent than the motherfucker they sent over here? That's an eyeballer. That's an eyeballer. You can damn sure tell why they didn't put this shit in Western history, because it make it look like, first of all, blacks are fucking genius. And then second of all, it make it look like the blacks are more fucking special forces than everybody else. Nigga, how are they more fluent than the fucking basic soldier who's supposed to be a white guy? This, man.
Officer wrote in his report, prisoner exhibits education level superior to many German officers. Speaks Hochdeutsch with better accent than this interrogator. Previously held assumptions about Negro intellectual capability require revision.
Wow.
Other captured soldiers
had
had studied engineering.
He's like, bro, the fucking info that we got in books about these dudes needs to be revised, bro, because this shit don't make no sense.
Than this interrogator. Previously held assumptions about Negro intellectual capability require revision.
It requires revision. This is the dude who encountered them. That's why I respect it, because it's from the East. This is the Germans talking. This ain't the white system, the public school program talking. No, this is the Germans themselves. These are soldiers. These are what they documented. They said, hey, bro, our whole fucking ideology on these people needs to be revised. We've been completely fucking led astray. These dudes is like up there with us. They're kind of better than some of us, bro. What the fuck are we doing? Like, we're going to lose. These Americans might have set us up, bro. They might have set us up sending these smart-ass dudes over here, because we were told that they were inferior. And they're, like, cashing out on a lot of our soldiers. And I mean our high-ranking ones. where they kind of smarter than them or matching with them. This ain't right. Whatever fucking science y'all gave us about these people needs to be revised, because these dudes is heavy.
Other captured soldiers had studied engineering at historically black colleges like Tuskegee Institute before the war. When German guards discovered technical manuals in their possession, they assumed the materials had been stolen from white officers. These prisoners demonstrated otherwise by explaining complex mechanical systems in technical German, using terminology that even camp engineers recognized as professional and accurate.
Even German engineers, after overhearing these black soldiers about building shit, these is master mason soldiers. They even had to concur. Oh yeah, this is correct information, because they're speaking it to them in German. They're like, yeah, this is actually right. Yeah, what they're saying is 100% correct. But remember, ooba dooba gooba dabba, baby. This is why I be saying that shit's a setup. The crack, the heroin, all the blaxploitation, all that shit was set up. All that propaganda shit was set the fuck up. Because ain't nobody win but these Jewish bankers, Hollywood directors, and music industry owners. Bruh, we can see where our talent went and how we got played out in the end. But what I'm saying is, when it's historically documented outside of the U.S. corporation public school program, and it's from another paleface, holla if you hear me. I don't give a damn how you feel about race, history. I don't give a damn. You got given a perspective of your people from the people who oppressed you, but the people outside of there that went to war with these people, they're acknowledging your genius because they were given a false narrative about you also. They like, well, damn. It's one thing to be told something, but to see something, to bear witness it, and it's not just with war, it's not just with language, it's not just with engineering, it's not just with, how to maneuver military tactics. It's like, dude, these guys is kings of all hats, all jackets, all trades. Who the fuck is these dudes, and who's been lying about this shit? They more or less was probably like, I'm surprised they let these dudes over here.
Some black POWs had been high school teachers before the war, specializing in European history and German literature.
They took us from everywhere, remember? Didn't Jackie Robinson go to war? Didn't Ali get locked up for not going to the war? Don't you understand what I'm saying? When it came to a draft, everybody's got to go. Just because they don't speak on black professions doesn't mean black professions weren't there. You can see the brother right there in the crowd with the hard hat on. Clearly, we were in construction. You can see the brother in front of the sign. Clearly, they just said, a lot of them were teachers. Man, what are you talking about? There was so much dynamics. Like, even if you watch movies like Dead Presidents, you know what I'm saying? You notice the medic was a black dude. The medic was a black dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like people don't realize so many different positions we was coming from. Doctors, football athletes, baseball players, teachers, the people that were in the orthodontist industry. It's like there were so many different people that get drafted, and you got to survive to eat. There's no welfare at the time of World War One. It's different. It's only for white people. World War II is still going into the 70s, so welfare is just coming out. The soldiers, they ain't got to worry about that. They doing their work. But I'm just saying that to say this: there was so much knowledge around. It's impossible for people's image of my people to even be correct. And we know that it's been incorrect because we're getting it from an outside source, which is another pale face, and it's from the East. So it's like you can't knock history. You just got to ask yourself, why aren't they showing it?
They could quote Goethe, discuss Prussian military reforms, and analyze Wehrmacht tactical doctrine with sophistication that unnerved their captors. Camp records document instances of prisoners correcting guards' misunderstandings of German military theory in German, leaving the guards visibly shaken. These weren't isolated cases. Among the thousands of Black American POWs, German guards encountered teachers, college graduates, skilled tradesmen, and professional soldiers whose education and capabilities demolished every stereotype Nazi ideology had taught them to believe. The German response to this cognitive dissonance varied. Some guards, particularly younger ones indoctrinated since childhood in Nazi racial theories, simply refused to acknowledge what they witnessed. They attributed language skills to exceptional individuals, treating them as anomalies that didn't challenge the broader racial hierarchy they'd been taught. Others, particularly older Wehrmacht soldiers who remembered Germany before the Nazi era, found their worldviews cracking. Diary entries recovered after the war reveal guards wrestling with what they observed. One career soldier wrote, "The American Negro prisoners are not what we were told. Some are educated men. Some speak better German than my own children. I do not understand how we were so wrong about this." The SS and Gestapo.
Tell me, bro, that wouldn't scare you. Tell me it wouldn't. If you're literally told a lie about an enemy, and then when you meet them, it's not a lie as if the negative, it's the positive. It's like, I was told they're dumb, but they're remarkable. What would that do to you? He said they speak better German than my children. What would that do to your mind psychologically? It's like, what did they send over here, bro? They sent me a weak image of a great thing. It would be baffling. It would be baffling because that's odd. That's why I said they would be the greatest spies, which they were, right? If they already are fluent in the language and they're reading your documents, even as a prisoner, they're reading your stuff. They're telling you better than you. And the Germans are so astonished that a lot of them Black prisoners of war didn't get killed. A lot of them made it out. But it's like, they're just so astonished by these people. Remember, a lot of Blacks made German kids. There's plenty of Black people in Germany right now, to this day. Been over there since the war. It's like that. It was amazing. It was so amazing that they were astonished. They couldn't believe it. Okay, this is what we need to hear more of, because it's a white person or a pale face telling you about Black people. Because everybody wants to talk about 50% of the crime, sagging your pants, and all that. Bruh, this clearly, this has been sabotage. Just like your, information you gave to the world about them, that was sabotage. You were lying. The Germans found that out firsthand. Okay, so what else did you do? What else did you do to destroy them? You had to have lied about history. You had to have brought drugs in. You had to have help advocate gangs, because Blacks didn't invent those gangs. They didn't. That's why it's red and blue. It doesn't matter from the east to the west, GD, Vice Lord, Midwest. It's red and blue. It's your flag. You're doing this. You're spell casting this game. You know what you're doing, but they don't. But if you just do a little bit of research, you don't even have to go that far. It's just a football throwaway down history lane. Get back to them 50s and them 40s and them 60s. Just real quick, and then go outside of the program and listen to what they say. Clearly, this is sabotage, and it wasn't self-sabotage. Somebody did this to them because they're too remarkable.
Maintained harder positions. When reports reached higher commands about educated Black POWs, some SS officers suggested they must be exceptions, perhaps children of mixed marriages, possibly educated in Europe. The alternative, that Nazi racial theories were fundamentally flawed, was too threatening to their entire ideological structure to contemplate. But for the guards who interacted daily with these prisoners, denial became increasingly difficult. The evidence accumulated in countless small interactions. Black POWs who translated for other prisoners, who understood complex orders without explanation, who demonstrated knowledge of military tactics during camp administration discussions, who read German newspapers and discussed current events with sophisticated analysis. post-war testimonies document particularly striking cases. Some captured black soldiers had unusual international backgrounds, raised abroad, multilingual from childhood, with combat experience on multiple continents. When these men were captured and interrogated, German intelligence officers couldn't process what they encountered. Reports to higher headquarters were sometimes marked, "requires verification." Prisoner claims seem exaggerated, but the claims weren't exaggerated. The segregated American military had concentrated educated black men into specific units precisely because white commanders didn't want them competing for positions with white soldiers.
See? I'm gonna leave it at that. I can really keep going with this. I really could. You know what I'm saying? Man, yeah, I'm gonna keep y'all rolling. You know, let's keep rolling. But it's like that's why we didn't get the star stripes and bars that we were supposed to get, because they held us in them little sign-off camps. Just watch that movie Cadets. With Charlie Sheen and Lawrence Fishburne. Notice a lot of them military movies. There's always some black dude in the jail barracks. He's always locked up. They're always locking us up because they knew we was outdoing them. Those are the ones that can speak fluent German and been in wars all over the place. Go watch the HBO version of Tuskegee Airmen. The dude who was the black pilot, bro, he had been in like 3 wars and made it out all of them. You know what I'm saying? Or 3 battles and made it out all of them. It was like a tailspin on one of them, like they shot the back of the plane, bro. You're supposed to die. It's like, dude, made it's out of that. None of these stories is really documented in the histories of the military halls because, you know, we would have foreshadowed them. It's just like we do in the sports, bro. It's just like we do with the energy on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Just the energy itself is like who's holding the rank for the most vibration. Remember, they're rhythm people. They have so much rhythm. It's like, who's doing it? Who's the harmonic soul in the physical body? We already know what it is. That's what they were hiding. Let's keep going. Remember, this is a white narrator. German information, white narrator. Don't look at it like we're being biased here. No, this is the final. I mean, the first time we're not being biased. We're allowing the worldly education to be at least acknowledged in the discussion about real soldiers that was black from the Americas, because I don't know if we had citizenship people, like some people got from Ellis Island that was Jamaican, because remember Marcus Garvey was out here, so it's like people that was from the Caribbean was able to get papers and all that. So that you always got to take that in mind too. You know, I'm not just saying it's just the U.S. corporation Americans that were in some of these wars. Nah, there was a few other people. You know what I'm saying? The Buffalo Soldiers, shit. You already know the deal. You already know.
This meant that when entire units were captured, German guards suddenly faced groups of prisoners whose average education level was higher than that of typical Wehrmacht enlisted men. The 333rd Field Artillery Battalion, decimated during the Battle of the Bulge with many survivors captured, included college graduates, skilled technicians, and professional soldiers. When these men arrived at POW camps, German administrators discovered they needed translators less than expected. Many prisoners could read German orders themselves and explain them to fellow POWs who couldn't. This created practical complications for camp administration. Standard procedure involved using German-speaking prisoners as intermediaries, but this required trusting those prisoners with information that might include military intelligence. German camp commanders, taught to view black prisoners as less threatening than white ones, suddenly faced the reality that some of their black prisoners understood military matters better than their guards.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing I was saying. Who wouldn't be bugging out if you've been told universally, like worldly, these people are inferior? And then when they get over there, they're speaking your language better than you. They can read your shit. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Hey, wait a minute. Who's spying on who? You know what I'm saying? Who's spying on who? So it makes you look back at the government again like, well, wait a minute. Are you saying we're smarter than the government? Not talking about black people. I'm talking about us in this 2025. Like, who the fuck wouldn't use these black people as spies if they know more German than you? They fucking can read the shit Why the fuck wouldn't you? So you telling me the whites in America was just dumb? Is that what you're saying? They're just dumb? Like, did they realize that you're just dumb? So you're using racism, which is a social construct, doesn't even matter. You're using that against your own fucking knowledge because these people know German, they can read German. Are you just dumb? Like, it ain't about racism. It's about strategy. You just dumb because there's no answer for that. That doesn't make any sense. Even the Germans are puzzled.
Several camps, this led to unusual situations. German-speaking black POWs were employed in camp administration, translating orders and managing prisoner work details. Camp commandants initially objected. Using Negro prisoners in administrative roles violated their understanding of proper racial hierarchy. But practical necessity won. The black prisoners who spoke German were more reliable translators than the available alternatives, and their military bearing and discipline made them effective intermediaries.
Exactly. See, we didn't back in the day get recognition because we're just some weasels, cutthroats, and liars. No, we proved our greatness. That's why people fucks with us. That's why still to this day, people are like, oh, blacks are lazy. Blacks are lazy. Motherfucker, you wouldn't have no game day on Sunday if it wasn't. But what the hell is you talking about? It's a $23 billion a year industry. It's seasonal. It doesn't even go all 12 months. What are you talking about? You got March Madness. That's 1 month, and that's my college kids. It's not even my professionals. It's my college kids. You know how much betting money comes from this shit? That's just 2 sports. They always say black man is always guaranteed 2 jobs. The football or the basketball, it's guaranteed. He's just ridiculous. Okay, that's a lot of money that comes in from that. Was that given because they bullied their way in there, or did they just show they had better skills? Okay, well, now we're talking about German intelligence, German language, military tactical, informational prowess. Okay, so much so now we're using the black fucking American soldiers. They say, well, nah, they killed them off the African. The Germans killed off the African. And I'm like, bruh, we're not African, we're American. You're not American, you were a slave. No, we're Indians. I don't care what program history you want to take. We're Americans. They knew he was Americans because they never ran into no shit like this. Remember, they're stunned. They're puzzled. Like, oh, what kind of Negroes are these? Like they're stunned. Why? So much so they start using them. Now they eating with them. If they using you to do military tactics, convert information, bro, that means they break bread. Yeah, the stool. Y'all cool now, taking pictures and shit. White boy cheesing, you know it's legit. If in the picture the white boy cheesing, if he happy, nigga, this ain't fake. This ain't made up. The white boy don't smile in no picture with no niggas that he don't like. Man, he cheesing like a motherfucker. Why? Fucking feel safe, man. These people know what they're doing. Jeez, they were so wrong about you guys. Like, why would they do that?
This created strange inversions of the expected power dynamic. Black prisoners issuing orders to German guards, translating Wehrmacht directives, sometimes correcting German officers' mistakes. The ideology said this was impossible. Reality insisted otherwise. The ability to speak German and understand military protocols wasn't merely impressive. It became a survival tool for black POWs facing systematically worse treatment than white prisoners. Wehrmacht policy, influenced by both Nazi racial ideology and a cynical exploitation of American segregation, mandated reduced rations for black prisoners. While white American POWs received Red Cross packages and standard Geneva Convention treatment, black prisoners often received half rations and were denied access to medical care, recreation, and correspondence privileges. The official German justification was...
What kind of BS is that? It's not even about racism at this point. Bitch, everybody's on this damn battlefield. Everybody's going to get cut, a scab, a scrape, a piece of shrapnel. Bruh, what do you mean you denying health aid? How you going to put somebody on a fucking battlefield and have the proper aid and not properly aid them? They're on the battlefield. Your punk ass ain't. Even if I was a white soldier, bro, hell no, they'd have been to a point where if like I got enough aid packages, bro, I'm throwing you one, like off the rip. Like, nigga, what? This motherfucker bleeding just like I am, Doug. No, we're not doing that. No. My soul can't allow that. And that's how you know what kind of beast you dealing with in this one life. Like, bro, you denying people aid packs? What? Like, what? Dog, they on the same battlefield. I gave him a gun. I let him fight for me, bro. Why the hell wouldn't I let him heal? Like, what the fuck is that? I'm just at awe at some of the dumb stuff that Paleface has historically done to his own American people. It does not matter the race, fool, just like it don't matter the sex. It don't matter what religion. It matters the turf that you own. It matters what you're representing when you go out. It matters, I gave you a gun. The fuck? Like, bruh. Oh, this is a proven reason why racism is just it's one of the dumbest things that ever was thought of. But strategically, that was stupid.
It was disturbing in its logic. If America itself considered Negro soldiers inferior enough to segregate them, then Germany was simply acknowledging American racial classifications. Wehrmacht administrators pointed to US military segregation as evidence that black soldiers deserved inferior treatment. This placed black POWs in immediate danger. Reduced rations in winter 1944 to 45, when food was already scarce throughout Germany, meant starvation. Denied medical care meant preventable deaths. The combination of malnutrition, exposure, and disease killed thousands of Allied POWs in German camps during the war's final months, and black prisoners faced even higher mortality rates. Language skills became a matter of life and death. Historical accounts describe German-speaking prisoners using their linguistic ability to negotiate with guards for additional food. They pointed out inconsistencies in German orders, identified when guards were lying about ration availability, and argued in legal German, citing Geneva Convention provisions for better treatment. These arguments rarely succeeded in changing policy, but they occasionally succeeded in changing individual guards' behavior. A guard who could be shamed in his own language, who could be confronted with the contradiction between German military honor and the reality of starving prisoners, sometimes found extra bread.
Look at that. Look at that. That's a coin on phrase, extra bread, because it's one thing for this person to not know how to represent themselves at all. But skin tone ain't got nothing to do with representation. If his elegancy is so correct and the fluency is just on point, it's like, how could they knock him? And he's kicking it better than you, the person who's, doing him wrong. The higher courts had to have seen that in certain cases. It's found that they started people out. That's how we lost a lot of the smart brothers. But it's just dope that they were there. It existed. It happened. It's reality.
Sometimes looked away when prisoners organized additional supplies. Sometimes acted like a soldier rather than a jailer. Prisoners with technical knowledge used their skills to make themselves valuable. German factories, desperately short of skilled labor, used POWs for industrial work, which violated Geneva Convention prohibitions on using prisoners for war production, but which Germany ignored when convenient. Camp records show that German administrators desperately needed skilled workers who could operate complex machinery. Prisoners who demonstrated engineering knowledge, explaining how to fix broken equipment in technical German, secured assignments to workshops where food was better and conditions less brutal than in the main camp. This was dangerous territory. Helping German war production could be seen as collaboration, but prisoners navigated a careful line. They fixed machinery enough to be valuable, but not enough to meaningfully help German war efforts. They took longer on repairs than necessary.
Of course.
They accidentally miscalibrated equipment.
Of course. Remember, the black soldiers had a lot of information in engineering. So they would be fucking up, fixing shit just to work, not to do too much. But at the same time, prolong the work so they can sit there and eat better food. Well, of course they don't want to tell that. That's showing black intelligence. They don't want that.
They used their knowledge to survive while subtly sabotaging the very system that exploited them. Some prisoners used their knowledge of German military history to build rapport with older guards. They discovered that Wehrmacht veterans, particularly those who'd served in World War I, often felt conflicted about Nazi racial policies. These older soldiers remembered Germany before Hitler, remembered a more cosmopolitan German culture. Post-war accounts describe prisoners engaging these guards in conversations about Prussian military traditions, about German philosophy, about European history. They quoted Schiller and Heine, German poets these guards knew from their youth. They discussed military campaigns with knowledge that revealed their respect for German military competence, even while fighting against Germany. These conversations didn't change guards' behavior dramatically, but they humanized black POWs in ways that sometimes mattered. A guard who'd discussed Goethe with a prisoner was less likely to beat that prisoner.
You get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? That's why it's all right to know a little Shakespeare, a little Nietzsche and all that. Socrates, what's that other cat? Confucius and all that. It's all right to know different cats. Or you can come with your own. You can come with your own philosophers and your spiritual, political leaders, whatever you want to come with. But it's always good to know a little something about where you're at. And for these black POWs to just be like Germaned out, like before they even got to Germany, like they had been studying you. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they was just influenced by what schools they was going to, because, you know, they had their segregation. So it's like these black schools were obviously fluent in language and all different types of shit. Why? Because we was getting a lot of Caribbean cats. You know, New York. You know what I'm saying? You got the West Indies and the Caribbean. All that. You're going to have a gang of languages. You're going to have some French in there. And then, yeah, you got your Louisiana brothers and sisters. You got that Creole flow. So it's like you got the French. You got patois. You got down there. You got what's that other stuff? You got a little bit of Hindu language. You got Spanish. You got there's a few different languages down there. You got Portuguese down there. It's like all the different cats that was coming up in the early Ellis Island days, 1900s and all that. Bro, blacks was fluent by the time 1944 hits. There's a gang of different language. That's why they say they were multi-languaged. Excuse me. What happened? Why these people that come up here now don't be sharing language? Excuse me. Why the Africans that be coming over here don't be trying to make African language classes and stuff like that? Like, why were we more fluent with each other back then? Something didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the FBA shit ever. I'm not getting into that. What I'm saying is something didn't happen when it came to trading information, because it was limited access to, you know, certain stomping grounds based off color differentials. So people had to work with each other more. Okay, why would people start siding with whatever? That's a whole nother conversation. Let's get back into black stools.
A soldier who'd been engaged in serious conversation about military tactics was more likely to slip extra food when he could. The knowledge of military protocol also provided protection. Black POWs who understood Wehrmacht regulations could cite specific orders when guards violated them. They knew that certain punishments required officer approval. They understood the paperwork requirements for prisoner transfers.
Look at that.
They recognized when guards were acting within German military law and when they were exceeding their authority.
Look at that.
This knowledge didn't prevent abuse.
See, it didn't prevent abuse, but it made acknowledgement of it. What I'm saying is they're not in America. In America and the South, it don't matter what the fuck you know. Even if you recited the Bible to a T. I forgot what movie that was, but it's the slave talking to the slave master or like some white slave owner and shit, and they're reciting the Bible. And it's like the black dude's hitting it though. He going word for word. And it's like the white dude saying that he's the one misrunning the script. So he like smacked him. You can't do that in Germany with soldiers and shit. It's like it's protocol. They saying your protocol. How do they know your script? Like the red book and shit. Like if they knew it to the T. When you're violating your own laws and they speaking it in your language more fluent than you it's like you had to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, it didn't stop the beatings, but it's like it
German guards who wanted their authority. This knowledge didn't prevent abuse. German guards who wanted to mistreat prisoners could usually find ways to do so. But it created a framework for negotiation, for appealing to military professionalism over racial hatred,
see, it made you. It's like that Christ stuff. It makes you live by the heart of the law instead of the letter of the law. Instead of you just running behind what it says, no, you acting in the action of what is written. You don't, you know what I'm saying, just get to play it off because it's there. No. You gotta make this real. You know what I'm saying? It tokened more professionalism. You know what I'm saying? Where people really honored the code that you claim you stand by. That's what everybody wants. You live by your word. You know what I'm saying? Be a person of your word.
Exploiting the bureaucratic nature of Wehrmacht administration. Historical records document instances of prisoners using their understanding of German military hierarchy to protect other captives. When guards attempted to execute prisoners for alleged escape attempts, knowledgeable POWs demanded, in formal German, that matters be referred to camp commandants as required by Wehrmacht regulations. Guards, surprised by prisoners' knowledge and formal language, sometimes hesitated. That hesitation allowed time for appeals to commandants, who recognized that executing prisoners without proper investigation would create problems with higher command. The prisoners were punished but not killed, small victories that saved lives. The ability to understand what German guards said among themselves also provided crucial intelligence. Black POWs who spoke German could eavesdrop on guard conversations, learning about camp security.
What I tell you earlier. So who the dummy? Who the stupid one? For not taking advantage of once the Germans even realized it. Yo, this video's been going on long enough. It's enough knowledge to share around, but you get the point. You can finish watching this on what happened when black POWs spoke fluent German to guards. It's on War Insider. It's only 8 days old. Pete, get your knowledge right. Learn something. Goes.